can you naturally incorporate strength training into your story using wood? What is estimated to be at least 1,700 pounds and kids can move it? What dangers could your characters run into with a chainsaw? What weird stories do I have for you today? Find out on this episode. Welcome to Writing Rule with Allie, the fiction writer's inspiration station for rural life and lifestyles, from historical to post-apocalyptic, helping you bring your rural stories to life. I'm Allie, and this is episode number 55, 5 Unexpected Workouts, Part 2. Stick around to the end to find out all the ways things could possibly go wrong. Now, let's get into this. Many things are physically demanding that people don't think about on a farm, homestead, or similar place. Last week we covered endurance exercises, and this week we will be covering strength exercises. One very important thing that almost all rural places in every era have in common is that they will need wood for heating or cooking. So today we will cover 5 unexpected workouts involving wood. Number 6, running a chainsaw. Running a chainsaw is first on this list today. One unexpected thing most people do not think about is the terrain that has to be walked through to even get to the tree that they will be using it on. Another thing is that they might just be taking off a few limbs that are in unsafe places, but not the whole tree. This could include limbs over homes, barns, fence lines, and more. If your story is during the time of electricity, there is a chance that they will be cutting it out of the power lines. All of these things mean one thing. Your character will be going up the tree to cut the limb. Climbing a tree requires arms, legs, shoulders, back, and the core. It's a full body workout. Grip strength is important for this one too. In the tree, your character will have to hold the tree with their legs if they don't want to fall while running the chainsaw. I don't know about you, but I would be holding on extra tight in the air with something that could cut my head off in my hands. I don't want to fall on it. An interesting story to go with this one. As a teen, my father did this very thing to help my best friend's family save money with their tree that had to go. I don't know what type of tree it was, but the bark kept sliding with him sitting on the limb. He would have to stop what he was doing and readjust to start again. It was like watching a punch balloon that you know is going to fall over and he would be hurt, but he kept just popping back up. If your character's on the ground, they might still have to use their legs and core, as they will be walking on hills, valleys, on rocks, and any number of awkward positions. If possible, people will move down to limbs to safer places, but sometimes they must cut these into smaller pieces for that to be possible. The last thing I will mention is arm strength. There are many sizes of chainsaws, and that means different weights and bar lengths. The bar length is how long the chain of the chainsaw will be. They have many chainsaws. That isn't what we are talking about here today. The smallest ones that I'm talking about today is a 14-inch bar. These are for little saplings and smaller limbs. As a very short person, I would stick with a 16-inch if I could, but if I needed to, I could go all the way up to a 20-inch bar if I was careful. The reason being is that sometimes chainsaws get pinched or hit a knot and it will jerk back at you. You have to have the arm strength to control it if that happens. Keep in mind that most rural situations, chainsaws are used for fallen limbs, property management, and making firewood. Unless your character is a lumberjack or works in the tree service, it is unlikely that they will be felling trees. Just for fun, the largest chainsaw I could find at the beginning of 2024 has a 41-inch bar. These are for falling enormous trees. That's barely shorter than me. I'll have to take a hard pass on that one. Taking a glance through several online exercise sites, I see that they say that chainsaws work the glutes, legs, chest, back, and the core. Number 7, chopping down trees with an axe. This is one that many gyms and workout programs try to mimic. The act of swinging an axe to fell a tree. This type of axe usually weighs 2.5 to 3 pounds. That is 1.13 kilograms to 1.36 kilograms. The movement twists the body in an abdominal rotation pattern. This exercise does not quite give justice to the amount of force a person puts into the momentum to get the axe in as far as it can cut, nor does it quite mimic the small muscle adjustments needed to hit the correct place and angle repeatedly to fell a tree. However, it is great for abdominal and back muscles that help with stability. A person's arms are used in the action and the legs are used to switch the body's weight and momentum from one part of the body to the other without losing control. Some gyms will have as close as they can get with a sledgehammer and a tire that is set up vertically. Number 8. Hand sawn wood. Hand sawn wood is the act of using a hand saw to cut the wood. Who'd have guessed? This can be small, twig-sized pieces, to two-man saws to cut down full trees. Old lumber mills used to do this. These saws were placed vertically with a guide so that they could cut the wood to the appropriate height. Today, outside of strict Amish communities, hand sawing is mostly done with a buck saw. These are one-man saws, although two men could technically work together with it. The handles are most often made of mostly wood and have a blade of no smaller than 24 inches. There is a gap between the blade and the top of the saw that allows for large logs to fit. This is the type that I use. In my early 20s, I used to be able to cut half of a rake of wood by myself in a day. And for my Canadian listeners, that is 1/4 of a cord of wood. Number 9. Splitting wood. Splitting wood is a great exercise. So great that our modern-day gyms and exercise programs also try to mimic this, with an exercise called the wood chop, or sometimes the wood chopping, or even the wood chopper. Sometimes this is done with weights, and other times it's done with a tire and a sledgehammer. The axe itself is between 3 pounds, or 1.36 kilograms, to 10 pounds, which is 4.5 kilograms. The average weight being between 6 and 8 pounds. In our home, we use 7, but it depends on the person and the main purpose of the axe. The length of the axe handle will be 28 to 36 inches, or 71.12 centimeters to 91.44 centimeters. The reason people like this as an exercise so much is that it covers many of the major muscles. This includes, but is not limited to, core, hips, calves, shoulders, lats, abs, and more. With the weight being without a counterweight, it means that it helps with usable abs. That means your balance. This is also a good cardiovascular exercise. That means it not only helps with heart health, but it has other benefits, such as lower blood pressure, improving sleep, lung health, managing diabetes, decrease stress, boost moods, and can help with weight loss. But it is unlikely your character will be chopping wood for that reason in a real farm or homestead situation. Number 10. Hauling or stacking wood. Hauling or stacking wood is fairly self-explanatory. In this episode, we will focus on firewood. I will guesstimate that the average piece of firewood weighs between 5 and 12 pounds. Keep in mind that the lower end will be more for the wood, and the bigger one are saved for overnight to keep the fire going longer. Not all modern wood stoves can take them that big either. According to usvintagewood.com, the average rick of wood weighs 1,700 pounds, but depending on how close or loosely packed, along with the density of the type of wood, can vary between 250 pounds to 2,750 pounds. That's a lot of wood and a lot of weight. In my part of the world, it is widely known that for a fire to stay running full-time in a wood stove or fireplace on cold days or nights, it will be burning roughly 1 rake of wood per week. That means if there are 10 weeks of winter, your character will need 10 rakes of wood. That averages to roughly 17,000 pounds of wood that your character will have to move at 5 to 12 pounds at a time. Now, if you break that down into days, that is 242.8 pounds per day. Most people carry several sticks of firewood in their arms at a time, but that will depend on your character's strength level. Just remember, kids and everyone help with this chore, even a toddler. Although I admit giving my toddlers the bark that fell off and pretending it was part of the wood. What? Bark is great for helping start the fire, or bringing dead fires back to life. Fun fact! As of 2023, it is estimated that only 1.7% of the United States still heats solely with wood. Now for everyone's favorite part, what could possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you, before we get into the best part, if you enjoy this podcast, I hope you will take a minute to follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe and hit that like button. Don't forget to share with a friend. And now, for everyone's favorite part. Likely to go wrong. Your character is running a chainsaw and it kicks back at them. This could be dangerous if the chainsaw is too big for them, or they were not paying close enough attention. Also likely to go wrong. Your character gets splinters moving the wood. Also likely to go wrong. Your character is chopping down their tree on their own, and it falls in a way they didn't expect. This could cause damage to any people, animals, buildings, vehicles, or anything else. It can crush. Possible to go wrong. Your character drops the firewood as they are moving it and it hits their leg, bruising it. Also possible to go wrong. Your character is using a bucksaw that is old. When the wooden handle snaps, they get huge splinters in their hand. Also possible to go wrong. Your character is using a bucksaw to cut up a log for firewood. When the saw blade breaks, they have to find a new blade or a new way to finish cutting the firewood. Unlikely to go wrong. Your character is felling a tree, and the energy used to fell the tree causes them not to be able to get out of the way of the falling tree fast enough. This could be deadly. Unlikely to go wrong. Your character is chopping firewood and they miss, hitting their foot instead. Ouch! Also unlikely to go wrong. While chopping firewood, your character's axe head comes flying off and hits someone else with it. This could be painful or even deadly. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is up in a tree cutting a limb and they didn't wear their safety harness. When the wind picks up, they fall out of the tree, landing on the chainsaw. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is running a chainsaw as they work with others to cut down a tree. The chainsaw gets stuck, and after some wiggling, they pull it out only to hit someone they didn't know was standing so close. This could be deadly. Thanks for listening. You can find this episode's show notes and helpful links similar more on my website, AlleyHart.com. That's ALLEYHART.com. Subscribe and follow for more episodes. Connect by dropping me a comment on my YouTube videos. A new episode comes out every Monday. Until then, happy wordsmithing!